CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop.
Hey guys, the Chicken is here. We are back today with another Boom Beach video, and in today's video, guys, we're going to do a little bit of a wrap-up and review on season, I was going to say 64, but it was season 63. And if you thought yesterday's video was crazy, although it sucks because I don't have the replay now, we actually had to go in one more time, and we were able to cinch our 33rd top 500 finish, and it was pretty nuts. It was pretty nuts. I wish we had access to the replays though, because it was pretty crazy. So this was I was just randomly awake. The season ends my time, I think, at 4 a.m. Right now. It changes like with the not the time zone, but the spring ahead, fall back, whatever. But right now it finishes at 4 a.m. and I was just awake. I just couldn't sleep, and I was just on my phone, and I was just looking at the leaderboard and stuff, and I was like, oh man, I was like 2 stars out with like 45 minutes left, and the leaderboard was moving so quickly. It was actually nuts. I don't know if you've ever seen a leaderboard move that much on the last day or so. Because where did it finish? It finished at 24.88, and if you guys remember yesterday's video, the last attack that I thought it was the last attack got us to 24.86 by a 1-second win. So we would have not made it. We would have been out by 2 stars, which would have been super annoying. And we ended up, so I had to go in for a Hail Mary. I only had 30 minutes, but I mean, there was nothing to lose at that point. It was pretty well guaranteed I wasn't going to make it. So we went back in. I matched the bottom deck. It's kind of, I gotta like describe it to you because I can't show anything, but I went against the bottom deck, and it was the one with everything in the middle, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know how to hit this base, like at all. So what I did was, I had 35 keys, and I unlocked the boost for the bombers, which I think is what saved us, because I just dropped them all in the middle, and he had 2 engines on either backside, like in both the back corners, and then like 2 sky shields and all the defenses in the middle. So my plan was to go in from the front and clear everything evenly, and then have them come back around on both sides, and they split perfectly. They didn't all, like there was too many on one side compared to the other, but I just used barrage and artillery to soften up those engines. And yeah, I forget what the time was exactly. It was like it came down to 3 seconds, so that was nuts. And that gave us 14 stars, which got us exactly to rank 25, which doesn't really matter because there's no starting bonus for rank 25. It's either 2450 or legendary. So, I mean, it's cool to hit a nice even number, I guess. But yeah, and that secured us into top 500. But it was crazy because rank 25 is the cutoff. I mean, I guess maybe it's been a while, but I guess there's technically been seasons where the cutoff was legendary for 500. I might be wrong, but on the 4-week seasons, that can definitely happen. And we finished at number 12 in Canada, which is kind of good. Kind of good. I mean, I'll take it. This was not really my season. Things weren't going too well. Slow start, slow middle, and slow ending. But I've never had that happen where I've had to go back in like with multiple, like with a full day in between. The first time I went back in on yesterday's video, I had actually gone 2 days without playing previously, so that was kind of cool. Now, reviewing the season as a whole, I think the season was okay. I would give it maybe, I think a 6 out of 10 is fair. I think a 6 out of 10 is fair because I did not really enjoy the season. I felt like there was some problems with it, but at the same time, but I also want to start holding, the seasons to a bit of a higher standard, because I've given seasons in the past points for simply working and not having 300 Eversparks at the beginning and having the season actually work. Yeah, so we gotta load some troops up. But yeah, I don't always want to do that because it's kind of a dumb way of ranking, and it sets the bar pretty low for Supercell. So, yeah. The things that worked was the variety of troops was very good for most of the season. And it was nice to see, lasers, bombers, rocket choppers, seekers had their minute. Everything worked at one point, as long as you got the supporting tech to go behind it. So that's cool to see. That's cool to see because I find it, annoying personally. Maybe you guys agree or disagree. These are just my thoughts. This is not, I want to hear from you guys too in the comments. But I find when only one thing works, it's annoying. Like when it's only seekers that are the best, it's annoying. When it's only bombers and defense that are the best, that's also annoying. But yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. The other thing, and we talked about it a little bit in some of the more recent videos, was I think the stat nodes are kind of a problem. I think the stat nodes, and it's not that they're inherently bad. I just don't feel like they need to be in every single season. I'd be okay with seeing, stat nodes come in every once in a while because then they're more fun and exciting, right? We've got a lot of new tools over the past few warship seasons, and I just feel like they don't have to be staples. Like the negative nodes don't have to be there every single season just because we can put them in. The negative nodes especially because although they do change things up, and as long as they're like different, I guess, then it's okay. But yeah, taking stuff away isn't fun, right? We want to have all the tools in the toolkit that we can use. Not saying again that they need to be wiped completely from warships, but I think it would be good to still have it, like how warships usually was. But yeah, between that and the stat nodes, I think the problem with the stat nodes, and again we mentioned this kind of previously, but it kind of just creates matchmaking issues where it's like, say you match somebody that's got, all offense and they've got no defense, and you're at a point in the tech tree where you don't really have enough defense to make it strong, and then the offensive stat guy just absolutely walks through you and there's nothing you can do. Like it just makes matchups like that are annoying because that just comes down to the luck of matchmaking. Like whereas if you had matched somebody else that maybe had similar stats or was a better option. I'm just trying to use that as an example. I don't know if that actually makes sense, but yeah, like it creates the win or the loss coming from just how the game matches you up with somebody, like just the luck of matching somebody, which is that's how I look at it anyways, and I find that annoying. But yeah. Now, we should also talk about the good things that came this season. There was no, for the first time in a while, there was no fizzle meta where we couldn't get an engine. That's always a season ruiner, right? Like, that's always the worst thing that they could do is make it so you can't get an engine room and it takes 2 hours to get your chest. Like, those metas or those whatever, they can absolutely kill a season, so kudos to Supercell for figuring some of that stuff out at least. But I always think there's room for improvement, and I think warships can always be better. And I always learn something every season. A lot of takeaways this season. The main one being, even if you're a couple days behind in tech, you're not really out of the game. So you don't really have to give up just because maybe you parked early, and then you're trying to go back in. And I think the important thing is to really, when it's this tight, just keep playing. Just don't park early. That was kind of my big takeaway from this season. So I hope that helps you guys out. And I want to hear from you guys. You let me know what you think down below in the comments. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today. Catch you next one, guys. Check it out. Back.